Before we get started, I want to share something that might support you beyond today's episode. If you're in perimenopause and working hard in the gym, but frustrated that your lower body isn't responding the way it used to, this is for you. One of the biggest mistakes I see women make is trying to grow their glutes while under-eating, avoiding carbs, and randomly throwing together exercises and workouts. That combo kills progress, especially in perimenopause. I put together a free glute growth guide designed for women over 40 who want to round their glutes without widening the waist. Inside this free guide, you will get the 4 must-have exercises to grow your glutes 40 plus that you can start doing at home. A mini workout for round glutes with suggested sets, reps, and technique tips, plus video tutorials and variations so you can train just like a pro. And a short, simple nutrition plan for growing shapely glutes that includes carbs and no low-calorie diets. If you want stronger hips, a more shapely backside, and workouts that work with your hormones, you can grab it now for free. The link is in the show notes. Now, let's get back to today's episode. I hear it all the time. I'm working out 5-6 days a week. I'm lifting weights, and yeah, I'm lifting heavy. But I still look fluffy, and I don't look toned. Okay, this has got to be the most frustrating thing ever, because here's the deal. It's not like you're just stalled because you're not taking action. No, you're showing up. You're going to the gym or you're lifting weights at home. You're being consistent, but yet your body isn't changing. So this can be really discouraging. And over time, you start to wonder if there's something wrong with you. You start to wonder if this is just how it is over the age of 40. Or you start to wonder if perimenopause is fucking everything up for you. No, it's not your age. It's not perimenopause. You're just missing a few key shifts. And that's exactly what we're going to be talking about in today's episode. So welcome to our show. Welcome to Lean and Strong in Perimenopause. My name is Courtney Witten. I'm a 45-year-old personal trainer, and I work with women who want body recomposition. This means losing fat and building muscle. I go to the gym 4 times a week. And today's episode is all about the biggest mistakes I see women over 40 making in the gym that is costing them body recomposition results. Because here's the reality. We all know that we need to lift weights for longevity. We all know that we need to be strong to have a good quality of life as we get older. But also we want to see that actually translate into physical results. So if that's what you're looking for, you are in the right place, my friend. So before we head into today's episode, I do want to let you know I have a free resource for you. It is called my Glute Growth Guide. Inside this glute growth guide is a simple lower body weight training program that you can do at home that is designed to help you grow your glutes without blowing up your waistline. You can grab it now by going to the link in the show notes. I also want to let you know if you want to be in a more intimate container, come on over to my free Facebook group, Lean and Strong in Perimenopause, where we talk about all of these things in a more intimate setting. This is also where I host free challenges and I do my Facebook Lives. So if you are enjoying this podcast, you are going to love my private Facebook group. You can request to join by clicking on the link in the show notes. But without further ado, we are going to go ahead and jump into today's episode, all about why your body isn't changing even though you work out. Now, some of these issues such as not losing fat or not building muscle, not seeing any body recomposition, yes, this can be due to dietary mistakes such as not eating enough protein, or eating too many calories. But we are just going to be talking about training, because it's not just about lifting heavy and it's not just about progressive overload. There is also other things that a lot of people will overlook. And that's the good news, is that most of these are actually very easy fixes. You could probably start implementing this stuff right away and start to see results rather quickly. Mistake number 1 is program hopping. So it looks like this. You started challenge this coming week, and then the next week you start a 6-week shred, but 2 weeks into it, you get bored. So then you sign up for a fitness influencer's new weightlifting program, and then you start a HIIT boot camp a few weeks later. Here's the problem with that. You're not going to get any results if you keep hopping from program to program. If you want body recomposition results, it's actually following a boring basic plan over and over. So not really any fancy exercises, just basic lifts such as lat pull down, bend over rows, squats, lunges, deadlifts, those types of things, but done with intensity. So the best results that I have seen has been actually currently, and that's just been from repeating the same workouts for months at a time. I'm not throwing in any fancy exercises. No, I'm repeating the same workouts, and I'm focusing on improving my form and lifting with intensity, pushing myself to failure. This is what's actually going to change your body, because the problem is when you're hopping from program to program, it's like you're starting over every single time. So if you want more muscle and you want to lose body fat, the best thing to do is follow just a traditional weight training program. Do that for at least 6 weeks, if not longer. I actually believe that longer is a little bit better. And here's the other thing. It actually is going to make things a lot easier on you, because whenever you're program hopping, you're constantly having to learn a new routine. And learning that new routine takes a lot more brain power than just repeating something that you've done over and over again. But the difference is this: you don't just go in and go on autopilot and just repeat the same workout. You need to be present. You need to be concentrating on what muscles that you're working. You need to push yourself to stimulate that muscle tissue enough to where you can build muscle. So this is actually good news. You're going to save brain power. You're going to make it easier on yourself, and you're going to see better results by just sticking to a traditional weight training program and focusing on intensity. Mistake number 2 is trying to have balance in your fitness routine. Okay, so this is what it looks like. On Monday, you go to boot camp. On Tuesday, you go to Pilates. Wednesday, you lift weights. Thursday, you go running. And then Friday, you go to yoga. Okay, here's the problem with that. You are not going to get good at anything. Okay, so cross training sounds great on paper, but whenever you're not doing things repeatedly through the week, you're just not going to get good at these things. And I'm also going to argue this. It sounds good on paper to have all of these. I see this every single day inside of fitness Facebook groups, is the question of, I'm not seeing any body change. I'm not seeing any fat loss. I'm not seeing any muscle tone, but here is my workout schedule. And then it lists, just like I said, weights on Monday, boot camp on Tuesday, Pilates on Wednesday, right? All of these different activities. Sure, that could be fun, but like I was saying, it's probably not going to be enough stimulus to actually change your body. You do need to be lifting weights if you want to see physique change at least 3 days a week. I would say 3 to 5 days a week is going to be the sweet spot for most people. Any more than 5 days, in fact, sometimes I actually feel like 5 days a week is too much for me. I've actually seen a slightly better results from 4 days versus 5. And I think really because that extra day of rest, I'm able to push myself a little bit more, and I'm also recovering a little bit better. So that's the main thing, is making sure that you're hitting those 3 to 4 weight training sessions a week. That is going to be the biggest driver with changing your body composition, especially if you want to look toned, especially if you want to build muscle. Now, if you want to add some other activities, I think that's totally fine, but I would try to just stick with like 1 to 2 activities, 3 tops. So it might look like this. You might lift weights. You might do like a yoga or Pilates class maybe once, maybe twice tops a week. And then you might have a little bit of cardio in there as well. I would not recommend any more than that. Okay. So for example, I do pretty much all resistance training. And right now I'm doing 1 cardio session a week besides my daily walking. With that, I'm able to focus on prioritizing building muscle, because here's the reality is that if you want to look toned, you really need to do the things that are boring and the things that you don't want to do, because in your 20s and 30s, you might have been able to get away with doing all this cross training because, one, your metabolism was probably a little bit more resilient. You probably didn't have the diet history that you have now. And also, it was a lot easier to build muscle back then when you were new to lifting, and also as a young person. let's be honest here. Building muscle 40 plus, you really have to be diligent. And this is exactly why it is really sad that it's uncommon to be lean, fit, and toned 40 plus, because you have to be consistent with the weight training. You have to push yourself to failure. You have to have intensity in your lifts. So unfortunately, I see that a lot. It's just not very common to see lean and fit people walking around. But also, I think that could actually be different if we were actually pushing ourselves to failure and prioritizing the weight training. This will change everything for you. So it might seem like a well-rounded routine with lots of balance and I never get bored. But at the end of the day, if you want body change, then you really need to prioritize the strength training. All right. So mistake number 3 is not resting long enough. I know we've talked about this on this podcast. This is a really important conversation to have, because if you're not resting long enough, more than likely you are leaving muscle gains on the table. So meaning you could be building more muscle, you could be looking more toned if you just simply sat there between sets. Because I see this all the time at my gym, is these big circuits of doing weightlifting and doing 2 to 3 exercises back to back. Like, sweat it out. Y'all, that is not lifting weights. That is cardio with weights, okay? That is not the way to build a lean physique. That is not the way to body recomposition. So it's really, really important that you are timing your rest. I would say a minute at the minimum. I would actually suggest more around the 90-second to 3-minute range. And this is really just going to depend on how heavy the weight loads are. It's just going to depend on a lot of factors. But longer rest, you're going to be able to lift more intensely, and you're also going to be able to lift heavier. So this could solve the problem. What you don't want to do is do back-to-back sets. You do not want to do cardio between sets. And no, it's not lazy to just sit there. In fact, you're actually probably causing more problems by trying to stay active during your rest periods than it's actually benefiting you. So no more burpees, no more jumping jacks, no more bouncing in place. Just fucking stand or sit there, okay? This is going to change everything for you. All right. Mistake number 4 is junk volume. Okay, I'm actually guilty of this. I was actually just thinking about this yesterday. I was tallying up. I'm like, okay, I did 6 exercises. I usually do 3 to 4 sets each. And I tallied up around, I think I did 17 sets yesterday. So that's about right for me. Usually I'm around like anywhere from like 14 to like 18 sets. But what I was thinking about yesterday when I was tallying all that up in my head, I was thinking about how I was so proud of myself for all of the volume I was doing. I remember I would go in on leg day. I'm not even joking, guys, 9 to 10 exercises, and I would do 3 to 4 sets. There was times I would do 30 some sets. Okay. That's fucking insane. And then I wondered why I wasn't building muscle. And I also wondered why I was never recovering properly. It was because I had all of this junk volume. So junk volume is not really benefiting you to do more. In fact, you're probably going to get better results doing less. So like I said, generally I do around 4 to 6, maybe 7 exercises tops. And I do about 3 to 4 sets each, sometimes just 2, just depending, but it's usually around 3, sometimes 4. I spend about 2 to 3 minutes in between sets resting. But I will tell you something, I look way more muscular and toned than I ever did in my 30s doing all that junk volume. So this is actually good news, guys, because you can actually improve your physique by doing less. And that's the conversation I've been having with women in my DMs is, y'all are taking action. The women I reach out to, the women that are listening to this podcast, you guys are fucking killing it. You're actually doing too much. And that's really the surprising thing is that a lot of you think that, oh, I just need to do more, or I need to be more disciplined, or maybe I just need to do more cardio. It's like, no, Ashley, you probably just need to rest a little bit longer. You probably need to cut out some volume. And some of you need to cut down on your cross training and just training in general, because working out 40 plus, to be quite honest, if you're doing 6 days a week, you're probably going to run yourself into the ground. So doing a little bit less, but making it more intentional can really change everything for you. All right, we have one more. The last mistake today is poor form or rushing through your reps. Okay, this is going to make and break everything, because if you do not have good form, then you're not going to be taxing the muscle enough. You're not even targeting that muscle sometimes if you're not set up correctly or executing an exercise properly. This is really, really important because, again, it's really frustrating to be showing up at the gym, you're working out consistently, but you're not seeing your results because your form is poor, and you probably don't even know that your form is poor. This is really, really important. So doing things like improving your hip mobility so you can actually get down to parallel, because if you can't get down to parallel in a squat, you're going to be leaving glute gains on the table, because in that 90-degree angle, your glutes are in that stretch position. This is optimal for building muscle in the glutes. So this is why it's really, really important to, not only increase your strength, but make sure that you have good mobility. And sometimes working with a trainer can really be helpful with learning good form, because you do need to be firing up the right muscles at the right time. You need to have good posture, because if you don't, then you're just not going to get anything from the exercise. I'm self-taught, and I will say this: I had to fix a lot of things. I did a lot of things wrong. I started off my fitness journey doing things like step aerobics and Taibo. So I was doing like fitness DVDs. And because I was self-taught, I didn't have anyone to tell me I was doing things wrong. So this caused a lot of frustration for me. But working with a trainer for even a short amount of time, even an online trainer, can really go a long way with helping you improve your form. Because if you have proper form, you're going to be able to fire up the muscles correctly. You're going to be able to have full range of motion. And this is going to be probably the biggest thing that you can do that's going to have the most impact on your physique. And rushing through your reps. So you want to make sure that you're going through a full range of motion. So taking at least 2 seconds to lift the weight and at least 2 seconds to go down. Because if you're rushing through your reps, you're not getting full range of motion. You're probably not putting enough tension on that muscle. So therefore, you're just not going to get a lot out of it. So slow down. I would say even slower than that if you can. 3, 4, 5 seconds. That can really go a long way. All right, ladies, so that is it for today. I'm going to drop the link to grab my free glute growth guide. This is going to walk you through a quick workout that you can do at home that is going to build your glutes without blowing up your waistline. And not only that, there's also some nutrition advice in there, because some of you guys are doing the workouts right, but you're not fueling your body properly. And this can lead to not getting the gains that you want. So you really need to have both things in place. You got to have the training down, but you also need to have the nutrition down as well. And once you can get all of those in place, that's when you start to see the body of your dreams. I'm also going to put the link to join my private Facebook group, Lean and Strong in Perimenopause, where we have more intimate conversations about making this stage of life the best one yet. All right, ladies, thanks so much for being here. I'm cheering you on, and I will see you next week. All right, bye for now.